What's up, everybody? Jason here with the review of Cobra Kai Season 2. If you haven't watched Season 2 or Season 1, I'm going to be talking some spoilers, so go on over to Netflix and check it out. Actually, as of right now, too, they're still on YouTube if you have YouTube Premium, so you can watch them that way, too, if you don't feel like jumping over to Netflix. But other than that, if you're still here, let's go ahead and dive in. So picking up on the finale of Season 1, we get the return of John Kreese, who is here to kick up some stuff. This season, things get a little bit more complicated. They get a little bit more complex. We get much more character development from other characters, not just our main characters of Daniel, Johnny, Sam, Robbie, and Miguel, but we also get a new character in Tori, who I had a few issues with her character in at least the first couple seasons. I didn't, there wasn't really, to me personally, as much character development or growth as there could have been, or at least there wasn't enough of an established character for me to really empathize or sympathize with her personally as a viewer of the show. She felt very one-dimensional and blamed the rest of the world for all her problems. And she does have some issues, and there is room to feel, they do leave some room to feel sorry for her character and empathetic towards her character. But that doesn't really come about in Season 1. In Season 1, she's very much a clear-cut foil for Sam LaRusso. The character development for Tori comes much later, and I'll get into that in future seasons. The big thing about this season is that Kreese comes in, and he's up to something. He's always up to something. And Johnny is trying to make things right because he realizes he's starting to set these kids down the wrong path, and he really wants to course correct on them, especially Miguel, because Miguel he views as kind of sort of a surrogate son to him, even though he has his own son Robbie who's going through his own thing, and he's being trained under Daniel LaRusso, who's decided to open his own dojo to combat Cobra Kai, and that is the Miyagi-Do, and his big pitch is that he's trying to give these lessons away. He's trying to do this for free. Not because he wants it, he's in it for the money or anything. He's in it to try to show the kids of the valley that it's not all about, aggression and anger and rage. And there is an episode which featured the old Cobra Kais from the original movie. And in fact, and I cannot think of his name off the top of my head. If you can, please leave it down in the comments. The actor who played Tommy. It's kind of that episode's kind of centered around Tommy, and he's got cancer and he's dying, but the guys want to have one last hurrah before Tommy passes on. The actor who played Tommy, interestingly enough, after the show had been released on YouTube back in 2019, a couple months later, he had passed away also with his battle with cancer. So that's kind of it becomes sort of a tribute, one last hurrah for him before he passed on. But in that episode, we get a sense from the other Cobra Kais of what Kreese had done to them, or when he taught them all that stuff, and they went out into the real world and realized this stuff doesn't work. It just made us a bunch of aggressive, dipshits. Pardon my language. But Johnny's really trying to make things right, and Kreese is just starting to starting to wrap him around his finger, and he's starting to make him believe that he really wants to do something. You know, he really wants to make amends. He wants to do the right thing. He wants to be a better person. So Johnny's willing to give him a second chance. But, you know, Kreese's machinations even go as far as demolishing, you know, getting some of his students, specifically Hawk, because he tries to get to Hawk, because Hawk is just aggressive. He becomes more aggressive, more willful, and unwilling to be seen as a nerd again. And him and his old friend Dimitri start to really butt heads because he picks on him more. He starts to pick on him. He starts to treat him like he starts to treat him like the enemy. And well, that only starts from the fact that Dimitri tries to join Cobra Kai, and he is then, let's face it, assaulted by Kreese, and he kind of makes a complaint, and you know, Hawk's gotta stick up for his Cobra Kai, stick up for Cobra Kai. So, you know, he's gonna try to shut Dimitri up, and that was kind of a heartbreaking thing for me to see two friends kind of fall out over this ridiculous karate stuff. And the rivalry between Daniel and Johnny escalates, and Kreese being in the middle does not help. Johnny eventually just is done with Kreese, but Kreese has already kind of spun his little web, and the rivalries between the students, between the kids, especially this love triangle that develops between Robbie, Sam, and Miguel, and it really all comes to a head in this karate brawl at the school. And it's one of the craziest, wildest sequences in the show to date. That was only topped by next season, and I'll get into that in my review of season 3. But another shout out is Paul Walter Hauser, who plays Stingray in this show. You know, before he did Richard Jewell and all these other movies that he was in, he was in Cobra Kai, and he was hilarious on that show as the man child who never wanted to grow up and just wanted to be part of the crowd. But this karate brawl kind of has its, anyway, going back to what I was saying, this karate brawl has its consequences. You know, it, aside from disrupting what's going on at the school, it leaves after a tussle between Miguel and Robbie, and of course Sam and Tori. Tori leaves Sam scarred because she has these like claw-like brass knuckles. And really the whole fight happens because Tori finds out, because she's dating Miguel, that Sam and Miguel kissed at this party they went to, and she's gone nuts. And again, it just seems like in this first season that she's introduced in, Tori is very much a one-dimensional villain. And this sequence and this episode really kind of rams that home a little bit. But in this fight with Miguel and Robbie, Miguel shows mercy because that's what Johnny's trying to instill in him, but Daniel's still consumed with this rivalry and this aggression that he's kind of instilled that in Robbie. It's always been there in Robbie. It's just he hasn't taught Robbie to keep control of that, and he's taught him more to be a karate guy, and that hasn't helped. And so when Miguel shows Robbie an act of mercy, Robbie kicks him over the edge of the balcony, and he breaks his back, and he kind of slips into a coma, and we don't know what's going to happen. everybody is really broken up and shaken by this terrible thing that's happened. And it was one of those endings is like, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it definitely moved the show in another direction, an interesting direction. And the series it's had serious ramifications on the series as a whole, especially moving forward in future seasons. And, when I first saw it, I was shocked and just kind of, where do we go from here? So, I honestly think it was a much stronger season than season 1. I think it really upped the ante. It raised the stakes. It kind of went more into the realm of ridiculousness than the previous season, but you can forgive the show because of the source material that's very 80s and very over the top. And it does do that delicate balance of 80s nostalgia and bringing some new blood into the series. I mean, into the Karate Kid franchise. But I definitely liked season 2 was definitely a much stronger sophomore season. But that soon changes with future seasons to come, and I will get into that in the future here soon. So let me know what you thought of season 2 of Cobra Kai. What worked, what didn't, what they improved upon in future seasons. What you think might still need to be addressed from things that happened in that season, or, anything else. I like to hear from you guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell to get updates on all my future videos. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.